is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Y'all, this
just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. It's Friday, everybody. It's like chocolate in the hell. Yeah.
So good. It gets better every time.
I just want a viewer to make a montage of those. So if at the end of this next season,
don't
I love it.
Please
I love
do.
it. Jeff, people
Don't
like
feed
it.
the wolves.
No,
Don't
they
feed the
love it.
wolves.
Yes.
Feed them. Okay.
Could you end that montage with that?
Feed them.
We talked a little bit about Richard Simmons yesterday, and he made it clear he isn't a fan of Pauly Shore's upcoming biopic about himself, but Pauly is still hoping to win him over. So Pauly is starring, if you didn't know, as Richard Simmons in an unrelated short film premiering at Sundance today, and additional biopic is also in the works. Richard, who hasn't been seen in public in years, posted a statement on Facebook saying he has never given his permission for the biopic. Reporters caught Pauly arriving to the film festival in Utah and said he hopes he could turn Richard around. Let's see.
If you know anything about me, I don't come from a vindictive place. I've never came from that, so, you know, I think my whole attitude, I think, is if you build it, he'll come. So I hope that once he sees the short, he sees kind of what we're wanting to do with it, that he'll change his tune. I love him, and I love what he represents, which is why we want to do it. You know, he's such a great character, and it'd be a good opportunity for me to get back out there as well. So, yeah, and people miss me and they miss him.
All right. I could go either way on this. So I know Erica's already feeling one way, but I could go the other. So what do you think, Erica?
That's a good GIF.
Listen, I think Pauly Shore seems to be a great human being. I've met him on one occasion. He was a lovely person. Everyone seems to have great things to say about him. But we got to make a divide, a boundary between what is happening with this biopic and Richard Simmons and Pauly Shore wanting a comeback. I don't think it's fair or honorable to either one of them to conflate the two, and that's why I'm struggling with it, because I don't want to say anything disparaging about it. It's just, it makes me a little uncomfortable.
I think that's a very nuanced and honest take, because I know Pauly, we're not best friends, but I met him a bunch of times. We're both comics. He is a good guy. And there was some truth that came out at the end of that interview, which I really thought, where he was like, it's a good chance to look at his life, but he said, and it's a good chance for me to get back out there. We talk all the time about this business. Watch any movie that you have in your collection. You go, what happened to her? She was great. Wasn't she in 2 of the Die Hards? And then people, this business is, you could do a couple hit songs and you're gone. You don't know, you're Pauly Shore for the 90s, and then you're gone. And people want to get back out there. And that's a very human thing, and I understand that. But I also understand that Richard Simmons is like, I don't want to be out there.
Right.
I've asked you nicely. I don't have a manager. I don't have a publicist. I don't use social media. I don't want to be out there. You're dragging me out here.
Right.
So at least acknowledge that. And I think both of these two people that seem like good people at heart, it seems like fans of Richard Simmons are good people. They're not looking to see him be embarrassed. They're just like, we want to see you again. But all that, does that add up to Richard Simmons losing his autonomy over his life and his privacy?
I think both of you I agree with both of your points. If Pauly's not going to do it, someone else will. That's just how Hollywood works. They follow the money, and right now everyone's curiosity is piqued because we have not really heard from Richard Simmons. So I'd rather it be Pauly, someone who's been invested in this project for years, someone who apparently loves Richard Simmons, and from his own mouth said that they are going to honor him and celebrate him. I'd rather see that than have Joe Schmo trying to just capitalize. Not saying that Pauly might not want to have his own comeback. I do think that it is something that's going to benefit him as well, of course. Let's call it what it is. But again, I would rather it be Pauly Shore than somebody else.
Is there a world in this industry where Pauly Shore can be like, listen, I know that this doesn't look great. I know that it looks like I am forcing my hero out of their privacy walls or whatever. I want to do this, and this is on the table for someone to do. If anyone's going to do it, I believe it should be me, period. Is there a world where he can just say...
That last part, you got me with the pitch. The last part, when you said it's somebody's going to do it, and I want it to be me because I'll do honor by it. That makes a lot of sense to me.
But that's what's, I mean, but Sam's saying it, but I'm saying, can Pauly say it?
That's what, if Pauly said that, I would be on board with that.
Remember a couple years ago when he posted about it on Facebook?
He's been pushing
He may
for this
have
for
said
years.
it in so many words. I don't know. Maybe he did. But to your point, Erica, I think, yeah, you do have to come from a place of humanity since Richard Simmons is so beloved. And if you say that, I think you're going to get more people on board.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys kind of said it all. Good job.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, we're done here. But I think the name of the game in Hollywood is getting eyeballs on your project, and that's exactly what's happening here, whether you like it or don't. You know?
And isn't that the name of the game with anything?
It's a fame game. It's my car, yours. It's all the same game. Is it Erica Cobb original?
I'm telling you, somebody just tuned into the show and was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
That was if you watch the show, you got it. All right. Anyways, a couple of Madonna fans are suing her because she showed up late to her concert. All right. So there's going to be a couple of sides on this one as well. They're suing Madonna, Live Nation, and the Barclays Center for unfair and deceptive trade practices and breach of contract after she showed up to her own concert in New York 2 hours late. By the time the show ended, there weren't many trains running, and they had to pay for Ubers or taxis. Madonna has notoriously been late to her shows, taking the stage around 10:30 p.m. That's a no-go for me, dog.
Right.
Well,
No-go
that's why
for me.
you wouldn't buy tickets to a Madonna concert.
But Madonna is like 80. You're not in the 80s.
But look,
That ended up good. So I was like, where am I going to go with this? And it ended up all right.
No, I'm saying that's why you wouldn't buy tickets because you aren't going. But it doesn't have to be Madonna. It could be anybody. You're not going to buy tickets to a concert that starts at 10:30. Clearly, Madonna's concert started at 10:30. Madonna's not a new artist. Okay, it's not like she just came out yesterday. We're not sure what she's gonna do. Everybody knows that Madonna shows will start at 8 o'clock. She goes on at 10:30. If you do not plan accordingly, do not let your failure to plan all of a sudden become a priority for everybody else.
But here, let me take the other side. Most of her fans are our age or above, right? In their 40s or above.
Sure.
People in their 40s or above don't do the late night thing. They have children. They have other things that they have to get to.
Okay, except some rich aunties and uncles.
Yeah, but I don't know if the young crowd is there and they have all night to party. Her audience is older and they need to get home. Starting at 10:30 is disrespectful in my mind.
It's a decision, and to call it disrespectful or a great idea, it doesn't really matter. What it really is it should be your accountant that's saying, hey, our fan base, this is the median age. They have this many kids. This is when they entertain themselves. I know comics, they used to do shows at 5 o'clock. They would, instead of doing an 8, 10, and 12, they would do a 5, 7, and 9 because Brett Butler, who I worked with once, she's like, my audience is older. So I think if she caters to her audience, she'll start earlier. She's clearly not doing that, so her audience has to adjust.
We all know what Madonna does.
Right.
I'm not going to go. I love Madonna, but I don't know if I would go see Madonna on a Tuesday night if I know I have to wake up early to take the kids to school. But then I know that, and I'm not going to get tickets.
Right.
Just like I didn't go see Corey Feldman. Love me some Corey Feldman, but I knew he was going to start at like midnight. I can't do that.
I wouldn't go to a basketball game that started at 10:30.
But here's the thing. I would, and I'm the same age. You know, like I don't have children, so I don't have those types of responsibilities. If I know that I'm going to go, Madonna is coming here to Arena, I could easily go to that show. Maybe I would take off the next day,
Right.
but I could easily go to that show and be fine. It's the preparation.
That
so
part.
don't act like, I understand people catering to their audience, but you act like Madonna doesn't sell out far in advance. There are plenty of people who want to go. What I hear are two people who took up 2 spaces at a Madonna concert that real Madonna fans would have preferred to have had, and now they're complaining and suing the artist and the venue because it didn't go in a way that they could take the L home. Get a car.
Yeah.
And another service.
Yeah.
And stay your butt home.
Plan.
I'm just saying.
You just showed your Chicago. Take the L home. I got that. I don't know if everyone else got that.
thought
The
she
L's
meant-
the train system.
Oh,
in
I thought
Chicago.
you meant like loser.
Oh, take the L home.
Take the loss.
Anywhere else in the
That's
country.
good, though.
Yes.
That
I
works
was
too.
talking about
That
it
works
does
too.
work.
That works too. Oh, that was nice. I like that. All right, take the L home. I actually like that.
There's also an L train in New York, Chicago.
Is there
people.
really?
Yeah.
But they call it
It's
the
called the L?
subway.
Yeah, they don't call it the
Takes
L.
you to Brooklyn. Yeah.
We gotta
There's
go.
an
Yeah,
L
go,
train.
Al, take,
It's not
take the L home, Al. Coming up on DBL, our interview with Jason Priestley. Wait until you hear about the crazy fan encounter during his 90210 days, and Erica's breaking down the Atlanta Housewives casting drama in her segment. What Erica's watching.
Yes.
That went somewhere we didn't think it was gonna go.
Chicago, so Jeff was right. I was saying take the L home because I was referring to the train, or in New York would be the subway. And Al said that the subway also, or in New York, there is an L train,
Which I used to
which
take
is
to my
the
apartment.
letter
Oh, the
L.
letter L.
Yeah.
But when I said L train, I meant EL, which is the elevated train, which is only in Chicago.
I never put that together.
Yeah.
So interesting.
So it's the elevated subway train. It goes up, it goes down,
Yeah, the
but
L
it's
system.
elevated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the future, any trains going out to Queens. I remember when I first moved to Queens, it was the first time like I was on the subway and it went above ground. Because like when you're in Queens, you can use your phone up until you get to Manhattan and then you go underneath. But yeah, that's so interesting. I've been to Chicago probably 50 times.
Yeah.
I'd never put that together because I was like, oh, they just call it the L like any other train. Did you take it?
Yeah.
Do people that live in Chicago, is it convenient to get places?
When I was when I went to school at DePaul University, which is
Shout out Blue Demons.
like right outside of downtown, so the Lincoln Park area. So half of our campus was downtown, and the other half was in Lincoln Park, which is like downtown adjacent. So you would have to take like multiple trains sometimes, or multiple options for trains. So they gave you a card that you could use, a U-Pass that you could use on any L, any bus, and it was like $100 for the year, which was super cheap.
Yeah.
So we would go everywhere. Like that was my ticket. U-Pass was my ticket to freedom when I was like 18 years old.
You know, it's funny because I grew up like on the blue line. You know what I mean? Like O'Hare, and then you get off at Addison to go to a Cubs game or something.
Yeah.
So and then it takes you right into the city. But then when you gave direction to people, like you got to take the blue to the red line, it's like I'm out. Yeah.
Welcome back. Are the Atlanta Housewives getting all their peaches snatched? More on Cat Williams' viral comeback, and Janet Jackson is bringing her fans together again in this week's What Erica's Watching. First, Kandi Burruss is calling out Bravo producers for dragging their feet to cast season 16 of the Atlanta Housewives. So far, none of the ladies have been confirmed. And singer, mogul, wife, and mother, Kandi says she has better things to do than just wait. Now, the word on the street is that producers might be looking to reboot the entire franchise and possibly even build a new cast around Portia and Nene, because many fans felt last season was boring. Okay, it was a little boring, but a Real Housewives of Atlanta without Kandi and Kenya in the mix, that's a no-go for me, dog. Now that Cat Williams has broken his silence about being blacklisted, he is taking no prisoners. With his mic drop worthy shade fest during Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast, it gained more than 10 million views in just one day. Cat set the record straight about Ricky Smiley lying about his role in the movie Friday, and he called out Cedric the Entertainer and Steve Harvey for stealing jokes. Now Cat's doubling down on his beef with Ludacris. He claims Luda sold his soul to the Fast and Furious franchise and belongs to the Illuminati or something like that. Now Luda fired back, saying in a rap, basically that Cat was lying. Then Cat clapped back with a few bars of his own during a new Collect Call podcast interview with Suge Knight from prison. Now that's a lot of shade. Cats calling his comeback The Reckoning. It might also be a good title for a Netflix special. That's if he hasn't already given away all his new material. And finally, Janet Jackson is celebrating the 25th anniversary of her triple platinum album, The Velvet Rope, by announcing new summer tour dates with rapper and expecting father, Nelly. Now, DBL girlies, I believe that sounds like a girls' night out. We'll keep you posted. Share with me anything that catches your eye by using the hashtag DBLEricaWatch. We'll be right back.
I got a surprise for you.
What?
I'm a cop.
You're not a cop. You have a badge?
Not yet.
Not ever. A gun?
Soon.
No, Max, you're not getting a gun.
Welcome back to DBL. That was a clip from Wild Cards featuring the dreamy Jason Priestley. Someone took that out. I put it back in. Earlier, we spoke with him about his crazy times in the 90s and how he learned to play a con artist from actual life experience. Take a look at this dreamy man.
Please welcome to the show. We love him, Jason Priestley.
Yes.
Hey, guys.
Hey, so you play a con man in Wild Cards, and I know that you're an honest Canadian fellow. I'm married to an honest Canadian fellow. But have you ever been conned in real life?
I have, actually. I got conned by a guy. This was a long time ago, but I got conned by this guy, and so I built a lot of the character of George around him. He was this super charming, super funny, really affable guy, fun to be with. You know, knew what kind of buttons to push on me and on the other people involved to sort of give us all the good feels, so we never questioned really what was going on.
All right, Jason, I'm going to go off script here a little bit because I just watched Tombstone the other day, one of my favorite movies.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Shout out to Billy Breckenridge. You make a little appearance in there. That's got to be awesome to play a part like that in such an iconic movie.
It is.
It was an unbelievable experience. It was a great honor to be a part of that project. That movie still stands up today, right? Which is amazing.
So great. I love that movie. All right, on to my other one of my favorite shows, 90210, and I got to give a little preset here. When I was in college playing football, I loved 90210, and when I first got there, I'm like, hey, it's Wednesday night. Are you guys going to watch 90210? Everyone's like, what are you talking about, 90210? By the end of the season, I had half the team in my room. They're like, oh my God, go Steve, go Brandon. I knew you guys watched. I knew you did. But let's get to your cast on 90210. You stay in touch with all your co-stars to this day. What kept you guys so close throughout these years?
Well, I think just going through an experience like that and making that show, together for as long as we did. And just being a part of a show like that, that's such a global phenomenon, it's an experience that really bonds you together. And I think that's why we've been able to stay in as close as we have for as long as we have.
I couldn't imagine being associated with anything that was described as a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, this show was a changing moment in television, and obviously we were all watching, but you had the experience of being immersed in this world. So I have to know, is there like a crazy fan experience that you can remember from the days of 90210?
There's got to be many.
Yeah,
Yes. One. We only have time for one.
But the craziest one was I came home one night, and this fangirl had snuck in through the dog door of my house and was in my bed wearing a pair of my boxer briefs.
Oh my gosh.
That's scary.
That is terrifying.
It is. It was kind of scary. I thought I had better home security than that.
Wait, just
she was there.
the boxers?
Yes, just the boxers. So I had to convince her to put her clothes back on, and then I escorted her out of my house, which was.
Oh my gosh.
You should have called over Ian Ziering to help you out. You know what I mean? All right. So you mentioned that you actually punched. This is off
Speaking
script.
of which.
Speaking of, I think you could handle your own. You punched Harvey Weinstein in the face many years ago. You got to tell us that story.
Well, I mean, I was at I thought he was Janet Jackson's bodyguard, and he grabbed me and he asked me to step outside, and you know Harvey's got some size on him, so I just said I'm not going anywhere with you, and I slammed him, and all of a sudden there were security guards all over me, and I was being escorted out of the party, and I had no idea. I was like, why are these guys like? I just got into a thing with Janet Jackson's bodyguard. Like, what's the big deal? And you know, I found out the next morning when I read the paper.
Oh,
yeah. Oh my goodness.
God. That
wow.
is wild. Okay, so here's the thing. I had a picture of you on my wall as a kid. Yes, I did. And teen idols seem to come around once every generation. So what is something that you've learned in your career that you wish you could go back to the 90s and tell yourself in preparation?
Get a doggy door that locks.
Yeah, copy that. I think I would just tell myself to enjoy it more. You know, I was at that age, for some reason, I was so focused on the future and you know the potential pitfalls that I could fall into in the future that I didn't really take the time to enjoy the experience that was happening to me then. So I would just tell myself to, you know, enjoy the ride a little more.
I love that. Yes. Oh my gosh, what a career. DBL Nation, you got to check out Wild Cards Wednesdays on the CW. I cannot wait. Thank you so much, Jason. Congratulations.
Thanks for taking the time.
Awesome.
We'll be right back.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
welcome back. Do you guys love taking baths? So according to a new Harvard study, baths are actually better for your health than showers. They say baths are better for your skin, your sleep, and heart health. So I'm curious, who's a bath peep?
Aren't you? We saw that video of you in the bathtub.
If anybody doesn't know, that's Jeff's music video debut.
There you go.
But, you know, I will say this. Baths are great, but for me, it's the ritual. It's like when you kind of stop and you're like, I'm going to take 20 minutes for myself. Sam, I know you're a candle girl. I'm more of a incense. I like incense and I'm a big smell person.
I like the ritual, too.
Yeah.
I like to know that this is my time. I'm going to decompress. I may read a book. I might just inhale a candle.
No, inhale?
Sounds like you're doing something else in that bathtub. This conversation is all thanks to Jacuzzi. If you want to start your bathroom remodel, Jacuzzi can help you do it the right way. Jacuzzi offers an unmatched, stress-free remodeling process. Call 800-990-3709 or visit jacuzzibathremodel.com. DBL's new every Sunday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Every Sunday?
What?
I said every day.